Hey YouTube, Common Collector here, and today I'm bringing you guys an update to my Arcana Knight deck profile. So I recently did a profile on this a few weeks ago, but this was before we got the new Megatins out, which just came out last week. So for those of you guys who don't know, we actually did get two really nice reprints that help this deck out, which are obviously Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, which a lot of people could not afford before, but now is a little bit more accessible and a little bit more cheap, as well as one of the Infernoble spell cards, the equip spell Durandal. So for that reason, I sort of put off adding the Durandal to my previous deck profile, which is why I made it more focused on getting out the Egyptian God cards. Now, this is more of a well-rounded Arcana Knight deck profile, so I wanted to show you guys these updates and just show you sort of a different way that you guys could run this in more of a competitive fashion instead of focusing on getting out stuff like Obelisk and whatnot. So Obelisk is out of the deck, but we do still have some nice Egyptian gods in here. So we will get right on into this deck profile in a second, but lastly, I just want to remind you guys about a giveaway that I have going on along with the Stream Squad. So if you guys want to go check out the Stream Squad YouTube channel, you guys can see them in my featured channels. So we are doing a giveaway. 2 days from now, we will be doing the drawing. So you guys can just go check out the podcast that I did with the Stream Squad. It just came up on YouTube today. So one winner for the drawing will win a 2021 Megatin, and so all you guys have to do is be subscribed to the Stream Squad as well as my YouTube channel, and then just go leave a comment on the podcast or on the live stream case opening that I did for the 2021 Megatins. But anyways, let's get on into this profile. So we're obviously playing our 3 copies of the Queen's Knight in here. Then I bumped down the King's Knight into 2 copies. We're obviously still focusing on using our Joker straight as much as possible, but you can still recycle these cards really, really well. And also, once you get your engine really going with the trap card, as well as getting the Joker's Knight out, then that means that you can really get quite a bit of these, get the ball rolling with a lot of these. So then we're also playing just 2 copies of the Jack's Knight as well. So 2 Jack's Knight, 2 King's Knight, and then 3 Queen's Knight. So yeah, really once you get the Joker's Knight, Joker's Straight, and the Joker's Wild trap card going, that's when you can really recycle all 3 of these per turn. So I think that playing 3 copies of the Queen, which is kind of the most important, is pretty necessary. Then we're playing our 3 copies of the Joker's Knight. This card is super fantastic for the deck. Just helps you to be able to cheese out a Queen's Knight from the deck, and then if you happen to draw into a King's Knight, then you can normal summon that, and then if you're not seeing your Joker straight. So this is a big reason why I like playing the 3 copies of Queen instead of 3 copies of King, because you would think with the effect monster, and he's got 100 more attack, that he's what you would want to run 3 of. But I really think that with you want to send the Queen for Joker's Knight, and then be able to normal summon a King's Knight if you don't see that Joker straight. So I think that that's pretty important. Then we're playing our 3 copies of the Imperial Bower. This card is just really nice to go in for really simple rank 4 plays on a moment's notice. Then we have, for our level 10s, we have our 1 copy of the Arcana Triumph Joker. And then, like I said, we're still playing some of the Egyptian gods. So we're playing our copy of Slifer and Winged Dragon of Ra, as well as the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere Mode. I did take this to locals. I saw a comment on the previous video asking if this is competitive and if I've tried it at locals. I haven't actually played it in the locals tournament, but I did just play around with this for some fun duels against my buddy's Beat Trooper deck, and he had a very nice Beat Trooper deck. He lent it to one of our other friends, and so I played him, and it was really cool that we were able to play around with this deck, and it was actually able to stave off the Beat Troopers a little bit, even if the pilot maybe wasn't the most optimal. It was still really cool to see this deck going toe-to-toe. The really sacky, amazing thing that you can do with this deck is with the Thunder Speed Summon spell card. You can actually search out the Sphere Mode and then tribute 3 of your opponent's monsters during their turn, which is really crazy. And then Slifer is just a really cool floodgate to be able to summon it. If you end up going first and you can't get into something like Appaloosa or anything, then you can just sit on a Slifer the Sky Dragon, and then every time your opponent summons a monster, then they're going to end up getting destroyed if they are at less than 2,000 attack. So if your opponent tries to do some big link climbing, but they have low attack monsters, even Drytron can't hang with this because their monsters only have 2,000 attack. So it's actually a really cool floodgate. for this fun deck. And then we have the one Winged Dragon of Ra, which can get summoned out from the Sphere mode, which is really, really cool. So you can cheese this out with an automatic 4,000 attack. Then we have our one copy of Infernoble Knight Renaud. I really liked this inclusion into the deck. So this is a card that was in Toon Chaos, so it is a little bit spendy. It was an Ultra in Toon Chaos, so obviously it's a little bit spendy, but then also the Fireflint Lady, which also got reprinted last summer in Battles of Legend Armageddon. So this card is fairly cheap, but then the Renaud is really nice because it helps you to get back a Fire Warrior monster from your graveyard, or else a equipped spell card, which is really, really nice. Then we have our 3 copies of Psyframe Gear Gamma. This is probably one of my favorite decks to play Gamma in because, next to like Virtual World, because with the Gamma and the driver, with Gamma, you're like a lot of your effects activate in the hand, or even like your Imperial Bower. When you activate his effect, he tributes himself and then he leaves the field. So then if your opponent tries to chain something like an Ash Blossom or anything like that, then the Gamma can stop all that, which is really, really cool. So let's get on into the spells. We have our 3 copies of Joker's Straight. So this is your best spell card of the deck by far, because it lets you basically discard a card and then you special summon a Queen's Knight from out of your deck and then add King's Knight from your deck to your hand. And then after that, you're able to normal summon the King's Knight, and then King's Knight is able to special summon your Jack's Knight. So this just is a 1 card, like 1.5 card, because you have to discard a card in order to get out like your full combo, which is really cool. Then if you get your full combo rolling, then you have your Thunder Speed Summon, which is really amazing to be able to search out one of your level 10 monsters. So you can even search out your Arcana Triumph Joker or any of the Divine Beasts that we're running here. The only one that we're really not running is Obelisk. So and then also you're able to then normal summon the monster that you add. So you add the card as long as you have all 3 of the Jacks, Queens, and King's Knight on the field. And then even if you don't have that, if you have the Divine Beast in hand, or whatever your level 10 non-dark monster is in your hand, then you're able to summon it with this. So you could technically like summon Slifer during your turn if your opponent is like kind of going mid combo and is about to summon off a lot of stuff, which is also really, really cool. We have our Fusion spell card of the deck, and then our next card, which is probably the card that most people would maybe want to swap out, is 3 copies of Mound of the Bound Creator. I really like this in here because it just helps to protect some of your stuff, especially your Slifer, which if your opponent gets rid of Slifer and that's what you were kind of banking on, then that can be really, really detrimental to your deck, to your board. So I really like Mound of the Bound Creator just to add a little bit of protection. You could instead run like 3 copies of Solemn Judgment or something just to negate those other cards. That would also be a really nice option, but I still just really like this card because also when this card gets destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, then you're able to add 1 divine monster from your deck to your hand. So basically with this, if you have this on the field to protect your Slifer, and then your opponent is able to get rid of this, and then they get rid of the Slifer, then you're actually able to add the Sphere mode from your deck to your hand, and then you can bust your opponent's board, which is really, really cool. So I really like that for this deck. Then we have our 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army, obviously, 1 copy of Double or Nothing, and then our 1 copy of the Infernoble Arms Durandal, which Durandal is just really cool to be able to dump it to the graveyard from your Isolde, which we have also added into the deck from our last profile. And so then with Durandal being in your graveyard, you summon out the Renaud onto the field, and then Renaud is able to actually add back the Durandal, and then you can activate the Durandal's effect to blow itself up, and then you special summon 1 Fire Warrior monster from your deck, or you add it from your deck to your hand, and then your Fireflint Lady can actually special summon herself from your hand as long as you still have a warrior monster. So then also, if you're not able to activate that effect, if let's say your Fireflint Lady is already in the graveyard, you can use the second effect of Durandal. You can just link away the Renaud, and then when Renaud is sent to the graveyard, as well as this, then you're able to add a card from, or special summon 1 of your monsters back from the graveyard, which is really, really cool. Just to be able to like just basically use this along with your Isolde as like a nice little link climbing tool. And then lastly, just as another option, we have 1 copy of the Living Fossil, just in case we draw into the Durandal or something, or if Living Fossil is just a slightly better option for some reason, whatever the current moment is. And then for our last 3 cards, we have are 3 copies of Joker Wild, which is able to basically copy your copies of your Joker's Straight, which is really, really nice, as well as your fusion spell. So yeah, Joker's Wild is really crazy. Once you get Joker's Wild, Joker's Straight, and Joker's Knight out of the deck, then your deck just has so much gas that unless your opponent is banishing stuff from your graveyard or something, then like Joker's Wild is able to, or all of these Joker cards are really able to keep the deck going and keep recycling your engines, which I really, really love. But that's it for the 40 card main deck. Let's get on into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we were playing the 1 copy of Arcana Knight Joker and the 1 copy of Arcana Extra Joker. These cards really aren't all that powerful, but you really just got to play them because they fit so well with the theme of the deck. Extra Joker can be a nice option to go into sometimes, as well as the Arcana Knight Joker with having 3,800 attack is actually pretty darn powerful to be able to bust through some of your opponent's big boards. Then like the real heart and soul of the deck sometimes is Isolde, because Isolde lets you link climb very, very easily, and then with having the Isolde engine in here, it's just super good for being able to get into stuff like Access Code Talker or Appaloosa, depending on if you're going first or second. Just as long as you can stay away from effects that lock you into warriors, you can go into a whole bunch of options. We have our 1 copy of the Psyframe Lord Lambda, just to be able to activate our Psyframe cards during our, even when we have monsters on the field. We have our 1 copy of Unicorn, 1 Appaloosa, and 1 Access Code. If you guys can't afford the Access Code, I would highly recommend adding an Exciton Knight in here. I just could not find the space for it in here. There's just other cards, other options that I like better. We have our 1 copy of Psyframe Lord Omega, which also works with the Psyframe package, obviously. 1 copy of Utopia, 1 Utopia Double, and then 1 Utopia the Lightning, just to round off our light warrior monsters for this deck, because those are generally your only options that you can get into if you are playing like stuff like Joker's Straight for your turn. 1 copy of Baguska, 1 Satellar Knight Deltaros. Deltaros may be the most cuttable card in here if you want to slip in Exciton Knight, but I still like it as a nice option. We have 1 copy of Constellar Pleiades, and then 1 final copy of Double A Zeus, which Double A Zeus, again, did get reprinted in the Megatins, so it is a lot more accessible. It's currently sitting at about $17 at the moment, so still a little spendy for some people, but I really think it's a quality card, especially for decks like this, which can go into a lot of XZs. Again, you just got to watch out for all of those effects that lock you into the Light Warriors, because he is a machine. So that's going to do it for the deck profile. Again, don't forget to check out the Stream Squad. I'll leave a link to their channel down in the description below if you guys want to check out their channel for the podcast. It was a very, very entertaining podcast. I thought it was super fun. Me and Reaper just could not stop talking because we just had such a great, solid conversation. So I highly recommend you guys check that out. And also, if you guys want to win your very own copy of one of the 2021 Mega Tins, so really, really highly recommend that. These tins are super hot right now. Go ahead and check out that giveaway and make sure that you guys enter. So we'll see you guys next time. Peace.